everyone. Today we are talking about a critical issue in U.S. immigration, the asylum backlog. Did you know that as of 2025, over 1 million asylum cases are pending? People fleeing persecution and danger in their home countries are stuck waiting for years, sometimes with little support and certainty of their future. Today we will explore why this backlog exists and who it is impacting. Today, Matthew will be joining us to discuss this backlog. He is an immigration lawyer and has written many books and articles on this topic.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Let's start at the beginning. How did we get here? Why is there such a huge backlog in asylum cases?
There are a few main factors. First, the number of asylum seekers has increased dramatically over the past decade. The US has roughly 51 million immigrants, many of which come from Mexico, China, and India. And during COVID, the system was further strained because some courts operate at limited capacity. On top of that, immigration courts in the USCIS offices have been chronically understaffed and underfunded, while agencies like ICE have received the bulk of federal funding. All of this has slowed processing time significantly.
What does this mean for the people waiting? Can you share some of these stories, please?
So, by reducing the backlog, families would no longer be separated for extended periods of time. It would also give asylum seekers the opportunity to properly start their new lives on a timely basis. People could get legal status, find proper jobs, get housing, and start their education. The shortened wait time could help to relieve some asylum seekers from their trauma when they arrive. Seekers such as Sophie, an asylum seeker from Burkina Faso, waited 5+ years and stated that uncertainty worsened her mental health. She was a survivor of female genital mutilation and domestic abuse, and her panic attacks were frequent and her anxiety worsened, waiting for the status update of her citizenship. Ali, who fled Yemen, left his son and wife and applied for asylum in 2015. He stated that the waiting was the worst. He said, quote, applying for asylum means you've already lost everything, and now you just keep waiting, waiting, waiting. This is almost the hardest part because there's absolutely nothing you can do, end quote.
Hearing Sophie and Ali's stories, it's impossible to not feel the weight of their suffering and their extended pain throughout those years of uncertainty. Not just lost time with their families, but loss of stability. And this is happening to more people, right?
Yes, many asylum seekers can't work for months because work authorization is delayed. That makes it hard to afford rent, food, or healthcare. The stress from waiting can worsen mental health, especially for young people who have already experienced trauma. It's a constant state of limbo and can make it difficult to integrate into communities.
The lack of instability must be horrible. And it's not just the asylum seekers who are affected.
Right. Immigration judges and court staff are also under extreme stress. A study of 96 judges found that many experience secondary traumatic stress and burnout, more than hospital physicians or prison wardens. That stress can slow down cases even more, creating a cycle where delays and overwork reinforce each other.
And for our listeners, especially young voters, why should they care about this issue?
Because it's about human rights, fairness, and empathy. People are waiting for safety and stability, and the system is testing their patience and resilience. Understanding these stories helps us connect to the broader issue and see the real consequences of delayed decisions.
How can we solve this active backlog of asylum seekers?
There are many different ideas proposed to help mitigate the growing number of cases and to speed up the processing time. Firstly, allocating more funds to immigration courts would help to alleviate stress greatly. Our courts are severely underfunded for the task that they must take on, and this backlog clearly indicates that. Another idea is to implement biometrics, as this would help to speed up the processing time greatly and help with homeland security. There's also been talk about the benefits of cutting immigration courts from the executive branch so they can be their own independent entity. Biometrics is designed for high volume processing, which allows large numbers of applicants to be verified quickly. Biometrics also enhances security by cross referencing applicants against criminal and security databases. This allows low risk cases to proceed quickly while it flags high risk individuals. A lot of people worry about their privacy when it comes to biometrics, but data is stored in binary coded templates. This means data is stored in ones and zeros, which are very secure.
Now, is biometrics foolproof?
Not fully. There was a study done with biometrics in airports by Khan and Thimu. They found that there were a good number of matching errors and network reliability issues, which slowed down the processing or generate false positives. Implementation would also require substantial investment in infrastructure and training.
Have biometrics ever been used unethically, though?
So Forte coined the term biopolitical creep after they posted research they've done about this issue. There's been cases where countries had originally used biometrics to help out citizens, but was later repurposed for enforcement rather than protection.
Now, out of all of these ideas, what do you think is the best way to address this issue?
If the immigration court system were separated from the executive branch, it could help ease the massive backlogs we're seeing right now. By creating an Article 1 immigration court, judges wouldn't have to worry about being removed or influenced. That kind of independence is important because it allows judges to focus on the law and each case rather than the political goals of those in office at the time. An independent court structure would be more consistent, more professional, and ultimately fairer. It would also strengthen trust in the process both for asylum seekers and for the public. Over time, that stability could make it easier for courts to work through cases efficiently and for the people stuck waiting. That could mean that the difference between spending years in uncertainty and finally getting a chance to move forward with their lives.
Now, what would it take to do all of that?
It's not an easy solution and will take time, and it takes a lot of effort from Congress to push this through. For all the solutions mentioned prior, Congress has the authority to implement all of them. But as everyone knows, Congress is slow and there will most likely need to be concessions.
Is there anything our listeners can do to help in their own way, regardless of how small it could be?
Yes, the most important thing to do is to spread awareness about the backlog. A lot of people are aware of the illegal immigration problem in the US, but only a small number of citizens are aware that this backlog is exacerbating that issue. Additionally, citizens can petition and contact their elected officials to help push for change.
If our listeners were to contact their representatives, what could they say to help sway them, especially in places that might not be so welcoming to these immigrants?
Appealing to the human aspect is very important. These aren't just numbers at the border, these are families with stories just like Sophie and Ali. They risked everything to escape from horrible disasters and inhospitable political climates just for the chance to be a US citizen. Additionally, immigrants are incredibly influential on the economy. Being able to take in more immigrants than other countries gives us a huge economic advantage over those.
Well, thank you to our listeners and Matthew for joining us today and discussing the issue of the asylum backlog. We hope that Sophie and Ali's stories inspire everyone to act. Take the time to reach out to your representatives and urge them to make a change today.